I'm Kelsey from Nested Sleep. Thank you so much for joining today. Today we're going to be talking about setting up a morning routine for your child as you go into the school year this year. As many others kind of took this summer to enjoy it, see some family, a little bit of a rest time. We also moved, so there was a lot of change in our lives in terms of getting off of routine, getting off of some schedules, as many do during the summertime. So now it is time for towards end of summer reset, as I'm sure many of you are as well. So when we talk about resetting for summer, a lot of the times this is for your toddler, preschoolers, school-age children. Babies tend to stay on a fairly similar schedule from wintertime to fall to summer to spring. But with some older kiddos, they get more activities in the evening during the summertime, and that brings later bedtimes and some later morning times as well. There's also not those normal demands of getting up for school, but as many of us go into this school year, we know that hopefully there's going to be more in-person learning and really needing to go physically to school. So we need to make sure that their sleep is aligned, they're getting lots of good sleep overnight, and they're able to wake feeling refreshed in the morning and ready to get out the door as well. So when we think about how long does it take for a reset, because a lot of people will be like, okay, I just need a couple days before school and that'll be fine. In some cases that may be okay. It depends how far off you are from where you want to be. So for example, if your child really still needs to work on, if it's your family goals, you want to work on more independent sleep, getting kiddo to fall asleep on their own, say there are some fears or anxieties at play, or you're more than an hour off of where you need to be, then you're really going to want to give yourself a good at least 2 to 3 weeks for that reset. And the reason is you can't, with our bodies, just jump from going to bed hours later to just getting into bed hours earlier. It can actually create some worsening sleep problems and more insomnia. So if you're looking big picture and you really have a decent amount of change to make, you want to give yourself a good 2 to 3 weeks, and feel free to reach out to me if you need to work on a more specific sleep plan. If, again, you're within an hour, so say morning wake time is currently at 8 a.m., but you need it to actually be at 7 a.m., then usually about a week is sufficient. This is similar to like a time change, right? So you're going to want to adjust usually about 15 minutes a day. So usually about a week is sufficient for that. And there'll be more on that later this week on adjusting schedules. So let's talk about the morning routine. Now in the summer, mornings we're often sleeping in a little bit later. During the school year, they'll have to get up a little bit earlier. Now, many elementary schools start pretty early. So my son's gonna be going into kindergarten. The school start time is 7:50. And a lot of parents think, oh, that's so early. And it does feel like that, especially coming out of the summertime. But as long as they're going to bed at the right times, and then they should still be refreshed when they wake in the morning. And the reasoning why a lot of elementary schools do need to start fairly early is especially if they're sharing any bus schedules with older kiddos and teenagers. It's more important for the teenagers to be able to sleep in a little bit later, because their natural circadian rhythm and body clock should be going to bed later in the evening and waking later in the morning. That's just how their body clock and hormones are working at that time of life. So that means elementary kiddos need to be going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. So how to get ready for this morning routine, okay? You're gonna wanna talk to your child a little bit ahead of time about what actually needs to happen in the morning. So what do you need to work on when you wake up? What are the things that need to be accomplished? So you're gonna wanna go through those together. Now, young kids especially, kiddos that are preschool and young elementary school, are visual learners often. So having something like a morning routine chart to be able to go through different items with your child to show them what actually needs to get done. This is one of my morning routine charts, which will be available in my free resources this week. So check that out on my website. You can laminate it and the child can help kind of cross off each item as they accomplish it. This can also be accomplished by making your own sticker chart or pictures of your own child, and that can be very helpful for a visual guide of what actually needs to happen in the morning. And routine and consistency. So especially for young kids, preschool age, early elementary, that consistency of the same exact thing every morning is going to be really helpful to get them on track and get that new habit in place. Another thing is if you're adjusting wake times, you can use some different clocks to tell your kids when you're going to want to wake in the morning. So for young kids, one of my favorites is the Hatch clock. You can set this to be different colors when they wake in the morning, and you may initially need to go in and stir them a little bit, but then you want them to see that the color is on, that it's time to wake, it's time to get out of bed. So then when they start to get up on their own, they can look over visually at the clock and see what time they have to wake. For older kiddos, this is a Hatch product as well that is made for older kids and adults. And this is a very soothing alarm, but you want to use an alarm versus you having to go in there for older children and teenagers. This one has a sunrise alarm, so it will slowly wake them with some light, and that can be very helpful and a very gentle way to wake in the morning for both, again, older kiddos, teens, and adults. You also can use just an old school alarm clock. That can be helpful, but you want to definitely not use your phone as an alarm clock, and you don't want to use that for your child either. Especially for teens, it's just very tempting if you have your phone to look at it, and it really can affect bedtime. So you want to use some standard clocks or Hatch products. And then you want to make sure that bedtime is aligned with your wake time, okay? So if you just start school and you don't do any prep, which of course can happen, you're gonna have some more tired kiddos, which of course can lead to some more behavioral problems, which is not something you want to deal with the first week in school. So you want to adjust bedtimes as you're adjusting your wake times. So again, if you have about an hour that you need to adjust when you're waking up normally at 8, you're going to want to go to bed. If you're looking at like a 12-hour window, you're going to want to set to 7:50 bedtime, 7:50 wake up. So shifting every 10 or 15 minutes, again, you're going to want to do that every day for a slow adjustment. And that's much more natural on your body to make that slow adjustment for both bedtimes and wake times. I'll be listing this out again this week, talking all about how to get your kids ready for back to school, but hope this morning routine discussion was helpful for you guys. Keep following along for more